Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me. On this episode of Build Your Own, we're going to build, price, and option a 2020 Kia Stinger GT1, as well as learn about the features and other configurations. Before we do, however, I just want to remind you that if you find this build and price review helpful, informative, or entertaining, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. As a carryover model in its third year, the 2020 Kia Stinger is the brand's highest performance vehicle that remains poised to impress buyers and enthusiasts in a segment teeming with European sports sedan rivals. The 2020 Kia Stinger shoots high above the brand's usual mainstream lineup to tackle entry luxury sports sedans from Audi, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz, and actually competes. Yes, that's right. The Kia Stinger is regularly mentioned alongside the A5 Sportback, that's the Audi, the 4 Series Gran Coupe, that's the BMW, and the C-Class sedan, that's the Mercedes. Unlike most of the other Kias in the showroom, the Stinger does come from luxury roots, sharing its platform with the also excellent Genesis G70 sedan. But whereas the car is a regular 3-box sedan, the Stinger cleverly hides a hatchback in its fast rear end, creating a huge cargo area for the extra practicality. 2 eager engines, an athletic chassis, and communicative steering make the Stinger a car I can enjoy every day. The 2020 Kia Stinger's competitiveness increases with the introduction of the GT line on the 2-liter. Now, the new GT line includes the eye-catching appeal of the V6 engine with all the fun bits, but it's a little bit cheaper. And as we can see here, we have 4 trim levels. We've got the GT line here that has a starting MSRP of $33,090. It comes with a 2-liter turbo engine, makes 255 horsepower. It's got an 8-speed transmission. It gets the GT style, like I said. It gets leather seats. And it's got a 7-inch camera. It's got a 7-inch touchscreen display. You got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You got a wireless phone charger. That's a lot of standard features for a base model car, just over $30,000. Then you bump up to the GT, it's just under $40,000, so it's a lot more money. But for that, they're giving you, now you get into the sportiest, most high horsepower engine. Now you got that V6 twin turbo horsepower, you get 19-inch alloy wheels, LED headlights, you get a flat bottom steering wheel. They got a whole bunch of other stuff. There's more stuff here to slide down. Smart over here on the base model. All right, you got smart key with push button start, rear parking sensors, blind spot detection, and you've got an available Harman Kardon audio system you can put just on the base model. On the GT, on the second tier up GT, you got a lot of stuff. Multicolor LED interior ambient lighting. Available torque vectoring. Moving forward, we're going to build and price a GT1 on the channel here today. That has a starting price of $45,400. It gets everything that we've already mentioned. Plus, it gets a Harman Kardon. It gets an 8-inch touchscreen. It gets a power sunroof. It's got ventilated seats. It's loaded. It's just over $45,000. It's got a 7-inch color instrument cluster display. It's got smart cruise control. It still doesn't come with the torque vectoring. Probably the GT2 over here, the top tier, that has a starting price of $50,000 and just over $50,000. It doesn't mention the available torque vectoring. That might be standard, but it does get Napa leather seats. It gets heads-up display, which is one of my favorite features on a car. It's got heated seats for the back passengers. It's got a smart power trunk. And it comes in the most colors. We can also see that depending on the trim level you get, it's going to depend. That's going to vary what kind of colors you have as options. And so it seems like the GT1 and the GT and the GT line all have the same exterior colors. And then the GT2 gets a couple additional colors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it gets maybe like one additional color, which might be this Federation orange. Right, that's a Pantera metal. Yeah, it might be the Federation orange. So, yeah, 4 trim levels. You got a starting MSRP just over $30,000, and you're getting a lot for that money. But the one thing you're not getting is the super sporty engine. To get that super sporty engine, you got to bump up to the $40,000 range. So, yeah, that's it there. Okay, so we just went over all the trim levels, all the configurations. And so even though the newly minted GT line has the looks of the V6 models, I'd still go with one of the higher powered models. Like I said, we're obviously going to build and price the GT1, but obviously the GT or the GT2 or just the GT gets you into that more powerful engine, right? Of those, I think the GT1 is the one to get. It keeps its price below the $50,000 mark, but adds a sunroof, navigation, 8-inch infotainment display, the Harman Kardon audio, automatic high beam headlamps, a power adjustable steering column, ventilated front seats, automated emergency braking with pedestrian detection, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and a driver attention monitor. That's a lot, I think. And when you base it on the cars that the Kia Stinger is competing against, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, a lot of these features won't even be standard features at this price point for $45,000 on those vehicles. You got to keep that in mind too. You're going to be buying the nameplate, and you're going to have to a la carte and package up everything else, and it's going to cost you more money. Okay, let's jump into this build and price review of the 2020 Kia Stinger. This thing's hot, buddy. It's hot. It's based off the Genesis G70, which I didn't know. I have done a build and price of the Genesis G70. Matter of fact, in the description below, before we get started, real quick, in the description below, I've actually listed several related build and price reviews that I've done that compete with this Kia Stinger. I actually did the 2018 Kia Stinger Fastback when it first came out. I did the Genesis G70, the Audi A5 Sportback, Mazda 6, Subaru WRX, Honda Accord, all the vehicles, Jaguar XF, Buick Regal GS, which is a super sweet car. All these cars compete with the 2020 Kia Stinger. I've put links to all my build and price reviews of those cars in the description below, so make sure you check that out. Okay, so here it is. Check it out. Kia is obviously serious about building a performance car. Here's the first thing they show us on their sales page. They're giving us the experts' names, the people who have developed the Stinger. This guy Peter and Gregory, and they've combined a high-performance engineering car with classic sports car style. So it's a lot of car, and especially a lot of car for the money, especially at the $33,000 price point. Okay, real quick, here's some performance specs. And this is for the GT V6 engine. The V6 engine makes the twin turbo, makes 365 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, does 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds, and has a top speed, a nice top speed, I might add, of 167 miles an hour. That's quite sporty because here's the thing. A lot of the German sedans, they have a speed limit. They have a speed limiter on their top speed, and it's normally 155 miles an hour. Okay, let's actually check out the exterior colors here for the 2020 Kia Stinger. This color here is Pantera Metal. That must be their favorite one because that's the one they defaulted to. Here's a micro blue pearl. We've got a high chroma red. I actually like that. Ceramic silver, actually quite sweet. The ceramic silver is actually pretty hot. It's pretty hot. We might have to do the ceramic silver. Aurora Black Pearl. Here's the reality. This car looks good in every one of these colors. Snow White Pearl, and I don't just say that. Okay, and here's that Federation Orange. And the Federation Orange is only available, seemingly, on the GT2 trim, the top tier $50,000 GT2 trim. Now, it says here we can do a 360. Oh, yeah, we can do a 360 virtual walk around of the 2020 Kia Stinger. I love this car. This car is actually hot. I'm sure that we could actually take a look at the video I did in 2018 because I did a 2018 build and price of the Kia Stinger. And like I said, that link's in the description below. And I bet you then, I even said, I love this car and I think it's hot, da-da-da-da-da. I bet you I'm not saying anything too different today than I did when I built and priced the 18. Let's take a look at the seat trim. Let's take a look at the different colors for the interior. Wow, number one, the resolution leaves a little something to be desired. Can we go up and down? No, we cannot go up and down. We can just spin around. We can just spin around, and it doesn't really move very well. So I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time. Hang on a second. Okay, that was very, very painful just to get this thing to spin around. It leaves a little bit to be desired, and I'm being generous by saying that. So the seat trim, here's the red leather. Hopefully this thing doesn't move. Oh, good. I'm glad it didn't move and start us over. Here's the black leather. This is the black Nappa leather. Remember, the Nappa leather comes on the GT2. The GT1 and everybody else, they get regular leather. This is the black Nappa leather, and then, of course, you can get the red Nappa leather. Actually, you know what? The standard leather looks better to me, and I actually like the design of the seat. See how it changes? Here's the red leather, and here's the red leather Nappa. Watch how the seat stitching changes. I guess that looks okay, but I don't mind just the regular. The regular leather works for me. All right, let's start talking about features. Let's start talking about the features for our 2020 Kia Stinger. First thing they want to tell us about are the design features. And while we're looking at while we go through the design features, we'll also jump back into that gallery. I showed a few of the gallery photos, but we'll go through all of them and also check out the interior photos. I don't remember from the 2018 what the verbatim how this interior looks, so I'm excited to actually check out the gallery photos so we can actually check out the interior. But let's first see what they're going to tell us about the design for the Stinger. Okay, no surprise here. There's an aerodynamic design. Yeah, we see that. The drag minimizing A-pillar. If you don't know what an A-pillar is, this post right here is called an A-pillar. The center one between the doors is called a B-pillar. And the one that runs back here that you can't really see so well on this particular car is called a C-pillar. At any rate, it says the drag minimizing A-pillar molding and integrated front bumper air curtains reduce turbulence in the wheel wells, right? So it's got an aerodynamic design. It's got a fastback silhouette. Oh, I'm glad they changed the picture. So long hood, deeply raked windshield, low slung cabin, and then they have LED headlights, or LED lights. Yeah, Stinger features available. That means it's optional. It's not standard. Available high glow LED headlights that feature distinctive jewel-like LED turn signals plus standard, that means on every model, LED daytime running lights. Then, last but not least, they have, well, not last but not least, there's others. There's dark chrome accents. These are design features. Remember, that's what we're on right here. Design features for the 2020 Kia Stinger. One of those design features is dark chrome accents. Another is rear design details, which looks nice. LED taillight design, dual twin exhaust, aggressive rear fenders. Yeah, it looks quite sporty on the back end, too. So here's a guy who's the head of vehicle test and high performance development, Albert Bierman. I hope I don't mess that up. At any rate, this guy says nobody expected such a car, not just the way it looks, but also the way it drives. It must be quite potent. This thing is kicking butt and taking names. This Kia Stinger. Like we know here, it comes in two engine options. Here's that base engine that comes in the GT line. The GT line engine, and it's respectable. 255 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. It's your 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. And then you bump up to the big boy. You jump up to the big boy, that gets you to the V6 twin turbo, and now you make 365 horsepower. You make another 110 horsepower, and then you bump up to 376 pound-feet of torque. You make another 116 pound-feet of torque, and then you do 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. So you shave off, quite a bit, 1.2 seconds in your 0 to 60 time. So it's a significant difference jumping up to the V6, and that's why we could see that the GT line had a starting price of $33,000 and change, and the GT line was the base model, right? That one comes with this engine, $33,000 and change. To get to this engine, you got to spend just under $40,000 to get the GT, right? Remember that? Yeah. Let's move on. Oh, this is cool. Let's hear the engine. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. I've done this in a few other videos, like when I did my Ferrari 488 video. I did that, and we can hear the exhaust. So let's see how this sounds. Let's see. I hope you can hear that, because I can. Sounds pretty good, but I wouldn't be driving it like that. There we go. That's just a lot of... That was just okay. To be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in the experience. It would have been better if they would have revved it up a few times and then drove off. Well, it's not a stick shift, but to do the paddle shift and hear the gears shifting or something like that. Doing that quick little throttle blips, I'm not impressed. Just not impressed. Hopefully you could hear that well. I hope you could. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Oh, let's hit up this gallery really fast before we keep going too far on the feature. So here's a nice shot of the Kia and the Stinger in the red. Got the Brembo brakes, beautiful 19-inch wheels. Well, the GT1 has 19-inch wheels. It's a very nice car. It's a nice car for $45,000. That's competing with cars that, well, if you spec them out the same way, they're going to cost a lot more than $45,000. But I guess it comes down to, can you get over the badge? You know, do you need to have a BMW Roundel? Do you need to have a Mercedes three-pointed star? Do you need to have the four rings of Audi? You know, that kind of deal there, or are you fine with, you know, the Kia? You know, see in my Kia kind of deal. LED tail lights. The Kia is nice looking. All right, I don't make fun of this car. I think the car is quite nice. I like Kias and I like Hyundais. I think the Korean cars are nice. Here's the available head-up display. Well, it's not available. I don't know if it's available. I know that it comes on the GT2. I know it comes on the GT2. I don't know if it comes on. I don't know if we can even get it on the GT1. Be quite honest with you. Here they're certainly showing the GT2. How do I know that? I can tell by the stitching design of the seats. These are definitely black leather black Napa leather seats. Here's a nice shot of the cargo lift up. You know, it's no Porsche Panamera. You know, I like the Porsche Panamera, but it's got a back end, sort of like a Porsche Panny. There's a nice shot of the interior. Yep, that available power move. Yeah, they didn't have much for the interior, did they? We're done. All right, so those are the gallery photos. Let's pick back up and check out the rest of these features, and then we can do the build and price. Okay, so drivetrain options. What are they talking about? Drive like you mean it. Stinger comes with nimble handling, standard rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive with torque vectoring control is available for enhanced stability. So we can get all-wheel drive, and if we get all-wheel drive, it's going to come with torque vectoring. I would like all-wheel drive. That's me. I don't know about you, but I would like all-wheel drive, so we're going to definitely option ours with that. All right, let's find out about this chassis stuff. So performance at its core. Stinger was expertly engineered to provide finely tuned chassis feedback, high levels of lateral grip, and smooth power delivery. So here they're talking about what? They're talking about the electronically controlled suspension. There's a limited slip differential. So apparently limited slip differential is standard on rear-wheel drive Stinger GT models. Limited slip differential is designed to help evenly distribute power through the drive wheels for more responsive and agile control of the rear axle through corners. So to kind of hold down on that sliding. Oh, and so down here, electronically controlled suspension, they say it's integrated into the McPherson strut front and 5-link rear suspension geometry, and it's available on the GT1 and the GT2. Well, thank goodness we're getting the GT1. Then there's the drive mode selector. This system syncs the engine, transmission, and suspension and steering to deliver 5 drive mode options to suit driving conditions. There you go. Let's talk about wheels and brakes. You got those Brembo brakes. They're available. They're available brakes. They're 4-piston front and 2-piston rear caliber. Surely the base model doesn't come with them. You got these Michelin tires. The Stinger GT features 19-inch Michelin Pilot Sport 4 summer tires, right? That means you're going to need some winter tires then if you live in a climate like that. And then they got these 19-inch wheels. So standard on all GT trims, these striking wheels feature lightweight design. The wheels are actually nice. All right, let's talk about this craftsmanship. So this guy, Orth Hendrick, who is the executive director of car product and telematics, says no detail was too small to be obsessed over. I like that because that's how the Europeans are building their cars. And if you want to compete, you got to start thinking fit and finish. It's not just performance, it's also fit and finish. All right, let's check out this interior here. So they say that it's got the 2020 Kia Stinger has an aviation-inspired interior. Aeronautical influences include the elevated dashes, wing-like design. I don't kind of really see that. The circular spoked air vents. Yeah, I can see the air vents. And floating display screen. I can clearly see that it's not floating. It's sitting right there on the dash. At any rate, we got driver-centric seating. That shifter looks very Audi-like, by the way. And they say there's premium materials, like available lush Napa leather seating. That's on the $50,000 GT2, as we already know. I have to note, I like how Kia has laid out their information. It's nice, it's easy to scroll, it's easy to click, it's easy to navigate through all the information. That is not always the case. It really isn't. Other manufacturers take a lesson from this Kia website. At any rate, connectivity. Let's talk about connectivity. There's an available UVO app. All manufacturers have their own app that does all kinds of stuff. This is some of the stuff that the UVO app does. So you can points of interest like parking places, vehicle info, da 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 da. There's My Car Zone, so you can check on your Stinger remotely with features like speed alert, curfew limit alert, and geofence alert. So if you've got the car that you only want it to be in a certain boundary, I guess that's great for your teenage driver, sounds like. At any rate, the last thing is maintenance, schedule service, and all that stuff right through the app. That's okay. That works too. I like that. All right, let's talk about technology. There's the 7-inch TFT display. That's an all-digital screen. That's an optional system. So that's pretty cool. That's going to give you all your digital speedometer and all that there. There's a head-up display. Now, the way they had it listed, they made it seem like it was only available on the GT2. If we can get it on the GT1, I'm all over it because I love head-up displays. Here they're talking about the shift-by-wire transmission. And I guess that's just standard. And then we've got the Harman Kardon stereo. I know the GT1 has the Harman Kardon stereo. I know the GT line, which is the base model, you could option this stereo. And it's a 720-watt stereo that has 15 speakers in it. Okay, let's talk about this Kia DriveWise. This is their advanced driver assistance technologies. They have what? They have blind spot collision warning. There's lane keep assist. And there's low beam assist dynamic. There's smart cruise control with stop and go. And surround view monitor. Now, we just went through several safety features, but most of them are not standard. Surround view monitor, it says available. Smart cruise control, it's an available option. Low beam assist dynamic, it's an available option. Lane keep assist, available option. So all this great technology, also this blind spot collision warning, also available. So all these Kia DriveWise, all this stuff, you're going to have to option it so you have the safest Kia Stinger you can get. We're definitely going to get all this stuff on our GT1. Okay, speaking of GT1, here we are. So let's actually do our build and price of the GT1. As we know, the GT1 starts at $45,400. Let's actually check the quick specs really fast, as long as the page doesn't look like a hot mess. Let's go find out real fast. Actually, the page does not look like a hot mess. So yeah, 2020 Kia Stinger GT1 has a starting price of $45,400. It's got an overall length of 190.2 inches. It's got a height of 55.1 inches. Real quick here, they give us all the highlights of all the features, some of the standard features it comes with. So it does have blind spot detection. It does have rear cross traffic alert. It does have high beam assist. So I guess we do have automatic emergency braking. We have lane departure warning and keeping. We have all the safety technology. That's good. We got the Harman Kardon. We got the wireless charging. We got the sunroof, the leather seats. And we got the Brembo brakes, the 19-inch wheels, the navigation. And we got that good twin-turbo V6 engine. What I really want to go over as far as specs was concerned was really the dimensions. So we already know the length of the vehicle. The width of the vehicle is 73.6 inches. The height we already know, 55.1. The wheelbase for the 2020 Kia is 114.4 inches. We skip over track type stuff. Headroom in the front for the Kia Stinger, 38.3 inches. Headroom in the rear, 37 inches. Shoulder room in the front, 56.4 inches. Shoulder room in the rear, 54.8. Leg room in the front of the Kia Stinger, 42.6 inches. Out in the back, people in the back seat, whoa, it drops down to 36.4 inches. Okay, moving on, let's move on to hip room. Hip room in the front is 55.5 inches. Hip room in the back is even better, 56.1 inches. So cargo volume is 23.3 cubic feet. Okay, real quick while we're here, let's talk about the horsepower. Look at them torque numbers. So we know it makes horsepower, 365 horsepower. For its torque, it makes 376 pound-feet of torque from 1,300 RPM all the way up to 4,500 RPM. Long story short, this thing's making all its torque right off of idle. And it's holding it up right to about 4,500 RPM. That's right in the sweet spot. Most of us drive between 2,000 and 5,000 RPM anyway. So that means all the available torque is available right in that sweet spot. And low. Nice car. I like it. And then we see 8-speed automatic transmission, limited slip differential, all on the GT1. All right, I think we're ready. Let's go do the build and price. Okay, here we are. Let's build and price our 2020 Stinger GT1. I said I liked it in the ceramic silver. It says adding ceramic silver requires upgrading to GT2. We're not going to do that. I don't want to upgrade to the GT2. Why won't it let us? I don't want to do that. Hang on one second. Okay, so I was just talking about how great this website is. It was all great until I started to try to do this little build and price. Every time I try to select a color, it keeps moving around what trim I have. So at this point, I don't even want to touch anything. I want to just get the Stinger GT1 in black with the black leather interior, because every time I selected something, it would move, and then I couldn't, if I didn't undo it fast enough, then it didn't give me the chance. So let's just select the options for the GT1. Now, I thought we had the good stereo. Harman Kardon, Quantum Logic, da-da-da. How about this? I know I want the all-wheel drive. I know I want the all-wheel drive. I guess the Brembo brakes isn't standard? Okay, here we go. Wait a minute. All right, GT1. Here we go. GT1. It's a little bit confusing, isn't it? I think it is. It's a little bit confusing how it works. They keep moving things around. You see how the packages are moving? Here's the deal. We got a black Kia Stinger GT1, black with black leather interior. I guess we're not going to touch anything. We're not going to select any options because it keeps moving around. So let's go to the summary. Here's the deal. I think the Kia Stinger is really nice. I thought the website was really great, but down here at the end of the website, it gets really confusing trying to actually build and price the car because they keep moving the configurations because this paint doesn't go with that paint and this little color doesn't go with that color. It gets a little silly. Let's straighten that out for next year's car. All right. Other than that, I like the car. I don't like how they messed it up at the end with the website, but that has nothing to really do with the car. Like the car, we're going to keep it basic. If you found this build and price review helpful of the 2020 Kia Stinger, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you think that they need to fix that configurator at the end, give me a thumbs up. Other than that, I'm going to tell you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you